الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and we send salutations upon His Prophet. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless his household, his companions, and those who follow them with good till the day of recompense. Allahumma ameen. I welcome you all to the second episode on the Sharhu Tuhfatul Atfaal, the explanation of the poem Tuhfatul Atfaal. And in the last episode, we did a short introduction. It was all about an introduction to the poem Tuhfatul Atfaal, where we talked about the author of the poem and we explained and translated his muqaddama, that is his introduction, his introductory lines to the poem. Today, inshallah, we'll start the explanation of the very first and basic ruling he mentioned in his poetry, which is an-nun as-sakina wa tanween. So an-nun as-sakina wa tanween literally means an-nun as-sakina is an unvoweled nun. And what do I mean by an unvoweled nun? In nun, we know the harf nun. It is the letter nun in Arabic alphabet. The alphabet nun. When it does not have any vowel, does not have fatha, it does not have kasra, it does not have dhamma, does not have fatha, or any form of vowel. When it does not have it, it is called a nun sakina. That is nun that is taking sukun, because it takes sukun at that position. When it does not take any of it, it actually takes a sukun. And so we want to talk about the ruling of this and also the tanween. And tanween is all of the tanween is also a kind of nun, but it's not a type of nun that you write. It's only a type of nun that you pronounce and it is felt, it is heard, but it is not a nun that you write. So tanween is the normal fathatani, kathratani, and dhammatani that we all know or we must have heard. And on the course of reciting the Quran, of course, it's obvious that they are present in the Quranic verses that we all recite. So we have fathatani, kasratani, and dhammatani, and nun sakida, and nun has sukun. So making four things I want to discuss. So as in four things that we want to actually base our discussion on. So these four things, it is nun sakina or tanween. The first is a nun, the second is a fathatani, the third one is kasratani, and the last is dhammatani. So the author wants to discuss about the rulings of these four things that we just mentioned. So before we start that, we would have to recite his poem where he discussed that chapter. He says, للنون إن تسكن وللتنوين أربع أحكام فخذ تبيين فالأول الإظهار قبل أحرف للحلق ست رتبت فلتعرفي همز فهاء ثم عين حاء مهملتان ثم غين خاء. So these are the three lines that are obvious on the screen. So it says للنون إن تسكن وللتنوين. You see the letter nun, alphabet nun, when it is in its unvoweled state, that is when it does not take fatha or kasra or dhamma, tanween, and also the tanween, that is the fathatani, kasratani, and dhammatani. These four, they have arba'u ahkamin fakhudh tabhini. They have four rules. As is four rules guide them when you meet them in the Quran. Because we are learning tajweed to actually proper and perfect our recitation of the Quran al-Kareem. So when you meet all of these four things that I mentioned. Nun sakina, the unvoweled nun, at-tanween, that is the three of them, that is fathatani, kasratani, and dhammatan. The four, they all have four rules that guide them and guide their pronunciation. So, fakhud tabyini. Now, listen to my explanation. So, take my clarification on this matter. What are these four rules? It says, because we are only going to discuss one of those rules today, which is al-idhar. But the four rules are al-idhar, al-idgham, al-iqlab, and al-ikhfa. These are the four rules that guide and explore the way to pronounce these four things I mentioned. So I hope that is understood. So it says فالأول الإظهار قبل أحرف للحلق ست رتبت فلتعرفي. It says the first of these rules or the rulings is al-idhar. The rule al-idhar. Al-idhar, as it is obvious in the second poem, the second line rather, the first line of the two abiyat in the second bait. So it says فَالْأَوَّلُ الْإِظْهَارُ قَبْلَ أَحْرُفٍ. The first of these rules is what we call al-idhar. And this idhar, what does it mean? It is when you pronounce, the definition of idhar is that you pronounce a letter without laying emphasis on it. You pronounce it from its makhraj. You pronounce it from its source, because all the letters, they all have sources. They all have places where you pronounce where they come out from. So when you pronounce a letter from its source without laying emphasis on it, it is a phenomenon known as al-ithhar. So the first of it is al-ithhar. And how does it occur? It says qabla ahrufin. It occurs as when you have all of these four, one of these four letters that I mentioned previously. One of it, when you have it before the six letters of al-ithhar. What are those four things I mentioned previously? Because what we are discussing here is nun sakina. When we have nun sakina, or fathatani, or kasratani, or dhammatan, which are the three things that form at-tanween. So when you have one of these, and one of it actually precedes the six letters of al-idhar. And these six letters of al-idhar, they call them ahruful halq, or huruful halqi. They are the letters of the throat, the throat, the letters that you pronounce, and they are sourced from the throat. So it says ahrufin lil halq, qabla ahrufin lil halq. They precede. When the ruling of idhar occurs is when one of it actually precedes the letters of al halq, the letters of the throat. Where you those letters, and what are those letters of the throat? These letters al halqi sittun rutibat falta'rifi. And these letters of the I said are pronounced, are sourced from the throat. They are six in number, and it has been arranged as to how they have come. It says hamzun faha'un thumma aynun ha'un. The first one is al-hamza, and we know al-hamza, that small letter, the first of the Arabic letters, is written on always written on alif. So hamzun, al-hamza. Faha'un, then we have ha, and these two, they are sourced from the lower part of the throat. That's why I said it is arranged. So these two comes first when you start from the lower part of the throat. So moving upward from the middle part of the throat, we have ayn and ha. Al-ayn and al-ha. Ayn, letter ayn, and letter ha. Then after these two, the next two, and these two, they call them muhmalatan. He said they are muhmalatan. And why did you say they are muhmalatan? It's because muhmalatan actually means they are neglected. They do not have dots. They do not have dots, because when they have dots, they become ghain and kha. So muhmalatan, he actually made indication that these ones do not have like dot on them. Thumma ghainun kha'un. Then we have ghain and kha, which are both sourced from the upper part of the throat. So making six letters. The first one al-hamza, the second al-ha, the third, al-ain, the fourth, al-ha, the fifth, al-ghain, the sixth, al-kha'u, al-kha'u. So hamza, ain, ha, ghain, hamza, hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, kha. These are the 6 letters of al-idhar. So what we are actually talking about is that when you see any of these 6 letters and what precedes one of it or any of it at all is one of the 4 things we mentioned, either a noon with sukun. Note, the noon must have sukun. It has fatha. It does not take this ruling we are talking about. So it has to take sukun, or a tanween, which may be on a harf, which should be on a letter. It should be on a letter, or those are just the 2. Like this, tanween is the general name for fathatani, kasratani, and dhammatan. So these are the 4 things that if one of it should precede the letters, the 6 letters of al-idhar, we have what we call al-ith-har, and you pronounce them because, as according to the definition of ith-har, you pronounce the ith-har without laying emphasis on the letters. So if you look at the screen, I think we have some examples, and like the saying goes, بالمثال يتضح المقال, with examples do we understand better. So the writer, here we have the examples of the 6 of them, and on the first row, as in we have on the first row we have the letters of al-ith-har, which is arranged accordingly. We have hamza, we have ha, we have ain, we have ha, we have ghain, and we have kha. And on the second row we have examples, al-amthilatu min kalimatin, that is the examples that in the Quran they occur in the same kalima, that is the hamza meets the nun sakina, or the nun meets the nun sakina, the nun with sukun, it meets the hamza in the same letter, as in the same word rather. And on the second row we have them separated from each other. And on the last row we have examples for at-tanween, this fathatani, kasratani, or dhammatan. So we have that for the 6 of them too. So it could be anyhow. So on the first one we have yin-auna, and the nun sakina meets the hamza in the same kalima. And how do you pronounce this? You do not recite yen-auna. No, that's not correct. You laid emphasis on it. So you start without laying emphasis from the makhraj, which is the halq, the throat, the lower part of it. So you say وَهُمْ يَنْأَوْنَ عَنْهُ, وَهُمْ يَنْأَوْنَ عَنْهُ. Instead of saying وَهُمْ you do not say that. So, and also man aman, without laying emphasis on the noon. Just pronounce it like naturally. This is what ith-har is all about. Do not say man aman. Do not recite like that. You should recite like man amana billah, man aman. So anytime we come across this in the Quran, remember you are not to lay emphasis on it. And also the examples for ha, as an example for hamza also, but this time around, what is preceding is the tanween, one of the tanween, not nun sakina. We have kullun aman. Example is kullun amana billah. Do not recite kullun amana billah. That's wrong. That's very wrong. So you recite kullun amana billah. So I hope that is clear for hamza. Then moving to ha, the same thing applies to it. So all of it actually. So minhum, do not say minhum, no. Min had, as is from two different words, because we have min and we have had. Min had, and also jurufin ha, as for example with tanween, that is when tanween precedes al ha. Jurufin ha, and also for ain we have an'amt, that is when they are in the same word. An'amt, do not say an'amt, no, just recite without laying emphasis on it. An'amt. For two separate words, we have min ilm. Do not say min ilm, no. And also for tanween preceding ain, we have hakimun alim. It could be fatatan that precedes it. It could be kasratan also. Depends on what you meet in the Quran. So for ha we have yanhitun for nun sakina preceding ha in the same word, and from in different words, that is nun is from a word and ha is from another word. You have min hakim, and for tanween preceding you have min hakimin hamid. Also ghain, we have a lot of you make mistake here. Because the letter ghain seems to it seems to have the attributes of letters that you may lay emphasis on them. This is not correct. As in for the riwayah of Hafs, you do not lay emphasis when you want to pronounce pronounce nun as sakina that precedes ghain or kha. So you say fasayunghiduna, like it is in Surah Al-Isra. You say fasayunghiduna ru'usahum wa yaqulun. Do not say fasayunghidu. That's not correct. You say fasayunghidun. Barakallahu fik. So and also min ghillin ikhwana. Do not say min ghillin ikhwana. You say min ghillin ikhwana. In min ghillin we have the ruling of al-idhaar, min nun meeting ghain, and also we have it in tanween meeting amza. Lin ikhwana, tanween meets, it precedes the amza. Note that the tanween or the nun has to precede one of the letters of idhaar. If it is the other way around, it is not idhaar. If one of these letters of idhaar precedes the tanween or the nun sakina, then it is not correct to say this is idhaar. So, for example, for the example of ghain, when it is met by a tanween, qawlan ghayr. Do not say qawlan ghayr. That's not correct. And also for kha, which is the last one, do not say wal munkhaniqa. No, nun preceding kha, wal munkhaniqa, without laying emphasis on it. And also for letters that for when they meet with two different kalima, we have min khair. Do not say min khair. No. And also alimun khabir. So what's expected of you now is to take your Quran and find examples of all of this. There are so many in the Quran. We have قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب. Tanween meeting al-hamza. And also min hasidin إذا hasad. Tanween meets hamza. And so many other examples in the Quran. So we've come to the end of today's episode. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us success. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. We'll discuss al-idgham in the next episode inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.